Jace, before we begin, let's have a quick listen to what Alistair Clarkson had to say this morning when speaking about Jago O'Meara's facial fracture.
Piggy Dunstall's got one of those crash hats that he could wear. We're actually thinking of ringing the chief and seeing whether we could borrow it. But the size of their melons might be a little bit of difference. It might, the big chiefs might be a bit too big for Jago. He's going to love me for saying that.
Jason, would you like to return serve?
Very happy with himself, Clarko, isn't he? He thinks he's so funny. Typical small man syndrome. No, look, he's just having a laugh, and I'll let him know about it next time I catch up with him. Don't worry about that.
We might also have to remind him who gave him his job. To more serious matters, Jace, what's been your reaction to the Buddy injury news? It's a big blow to not only the Swans, but the whole competition.
Yeah, I'm just really disappointed, Kath. I mean, we want the best players out there playing. Buddy's one of the superstars of the competition, has been for so long. We want him to break through the 1,000-goal barrier and hopefully keep going and maybe break the all-time record, because he's such a great athlete. He can actually do it all. If he can find the mental resilience and the desire to keep going, I think there's still plenty of football left in him, but it's going to take a bit to get this right. He's going to have to be careful.
How do you feel watching on when you see Buddy Franklin edging closer to that 1,000-goal mark?
I love it. Absolutely love it. The more the merrier. I mean, we want the best players out there. We want records to be broken. We want barriers to be smashed through. So hopefully, I know it's probably going to take at least half the season, but hopefully he can get himself right and then bounce back. And at least, given he hasn't played much the last couple of years, maybe he'll be fresh for another couple of seasons and battle on really strongly.
Well, Dermot Brereton said last night on Fox Footy Live, Hawthorn estimated the Swans would only get 7 years out of him, not 9. Is that what you remember at the time?
Oh, my memory's very, very vague. But look, I don't think at the end of the day, when you do a 9-year contract, you're expecting 9 years, particularly from a player that was, not a young player at the time that he was actually recruited. So I would suggest that what he's already brought to the Swans in terms of membership and merchandise and sponsorship, as well as thrilling the crowds, I think they've got value anyway.
The deal's already been justified, in your opinion?
100%. I mean, a lot of people said, you have to win a premiership with him, but gee, I reckon what he's done for them off-field as well as on-field makes it a pretty attractive package, and he's been well paid for it, but I think he's earned every dollar.
So what now? What should the Swans and Buddy do from here to try get the most out of him for the remainder of his contract?
Well, it's all about rehabbing really, really studiously. He's got to be fastidious the way he goes about it, because at his age, little niggles can stick around. Soft tissue injuries can start to take over. So he's going to have to rehab it perfectly. They won't take any risks with him. They're pretty smart. And even if it's only a small part at the back end of the season that he plays, maybe it's about getting him right for a big bounce back in 2021, starting afresh and hitting the ground running.
And what about in terms of when he does return to the game? How would you handle him during game situations?
Well, that's a difficult one. I mean, he's an instinctive player that's always been a great athlete. You can't sit there and say, don't do things that are likely to jeopardise your chances of getting through the game. I mean, do you manage his time? He's an explosive player. That's when it happens. So it mightn't necessarily be about game time either. I think you just get him as fit as you can, get him mentally and physically sound, and let him go.
Hopefully he doesn't miss the whole 2020 season. Hopefully we do see him at some point this year. Jason, always great to have you on AFL Tonight. Thanks for your time.
Not a problem, Kath. I'm just off to catch up with Clarko.